Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cheryl Technology Channel. First, I want to start with one thing. If you do not know the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, reach out to me in the comments, and I will be glad to lead you to Him. You do not know what you are missing. Anyway, with that said, let's get into this video. In this one, we are going to be examining what it means to be cyber smart. In this day and age, we have so many things that are dependent upon technology, dependent upon systems that we use every day. Our computers, as you can see right here, our computers, all of these things are reliant upon the internet. Now, the internet's a dangerous place. We have our firewalls that protect us mostly from the outside world. Problem is that a lot of things get through our email, right? It makes it through our firewall into our email. We're pulling from an email server, right? The problem with that is when we have things that come through the firewall and it doesn't detect them, that can be a problem. So that's what we're going to look at today. Now I've got my notes right over here on this screen, so you'll see me looking up occasionally. That's why. And I've got a lot of them. We got a lot to cover. And I did a ton of research, and we're going to go over a lot of what I found and what I learned and the things that I can help you to learn. So the first thing I want to look at is fake emails. So fake emails are everywhere, man. They are absolutely everywhere. The emails these days and they're getting very good. There's a guy named Linus Tech Tips on YouTube that it's even fooled his people and him. So if it can fool him, it's gonna fool a lot of people. What y'all have to remember is that when you're doing these things, you use common sense, right? Are the words spelled correct? Does it come from like a google.com or is it Google? You got to remember things like that. Are all the letters there? Are all the words there? Or is the grammar a little weird? Things like that. Those things will tell you whether the email's legit or not. And there's one thing that I want to show y'all here in a little bit. We'll get into it a little later, but there's something I want to show y'all that will tell you whether the website you're going to is legit or not. And so we're going to look at that today. Fake emails are everywhere. The key components are they promise instant fortune. And a lot of times it's from princes. So think of this, y'all. When you work, how long does it take you to make money? There's not somebody else that has some secret that you can use that will make you a millionaire. That's not the way the world works. Riches doesn't work that way. So think of that when you're doing this. Why would they send you an email? Why would they send you an email? This is my advice I use to everybody that I work with in the place I work. I say I tell them one simple thing. If you do not know the sender, report it. Simple as that. If you don't know it, report it as spam or phishing to Google or Outlook or whoever it is. At where we work, we use Outlook. We can go in and we can select a thing that will say, hey, report this as phishing. It'll go to we have a team in Spain that looks at all these things. It's like IMOC, I think is what. No, not IMOC. Is that what they're called? They're like a division that looks at emails that we report as phishing. And if I don't know them, it gets reported. I don't play around no more. That's the first thing. The main objective of things like these are to steal your user information. That's what they want. They want our check this out, people. Check this out. The value of our data is so great that Google, Yahoo, Apple, all of these big companies will spend all of their time gathering data. Why? To make the experience better. The better the experience is, right? The better the experience is, the more likely you are to go with that company. Think about that. That makes their product worth more money. Makes the company more valuable too. So they want your data. Always remember, what is this email asking for? Really ask that question. What does this company want from me? What do they want? If they are wanting, most of the times they just want to reply. Sometimes they want to reply. Most of the time it's to collect data. Sometimes they'll try to collect personal data like your date of birth, where you're from, male or female, those kind of things. And then sometimes they'll want to collect more than that. Most companies already have all your data anyway. I'm going to tell you that already. They seem to present an argument that touches the heart of people, thereby deceiving you, right? By saying they need to act now. Things like that. They use language that induces a verb, an action of some kind. Everybody has been late on a bill at some point, and they'll say, hey, you need to deal with this now, or we're going to shut this off, or we're going to do this. See, that's different. But when it comes from somebody you don't know, and they're like, hey, click this link in the email, right? We've all seen it. They'll say, click this link in this email, and I'm going to show you a text message, actually, that I got on my work phone. I'm going to divulge it to you because I think it's important for everybody to see it, to understand what it looks like. It just looks weird, and you'll see why here in a little bit. They'll use language like that, like verbs and stuff that'll say, hey, you need to act now. If you want to have all this money, you better act now. Click the link. And this comes into my next part. Fake websites. Now, a lot of times when they have that link in the email, it will lead to a fake website, right? And they do the exact same thing that a fake email does. It is trying to collect personal identifiable information about you. That's it. Now, they create a website specifically for capturing credentials, right? It captures your credentials. It'll say, hey, log into this website. Well, when you go to log in, it captures your credentials and you're done. Now, there are measures that you can put in place. I've done videos on multi-factor authentication, things of that nature. Everybody knows how to do it, but if y'all want me to do a more detailed video on that, put that down in the comments and I'll do one. I will do an in-depth video because I use multi-factor for everything, and it has saved my butt bunches of times. For instance, let's say that you receive an email like the one I was talking about with a link to click, right? This is what I'm talking about. That link is probably linked to a fake website that they created by scumbags, because that's what they are, to gather your personal information. Either way, their intention is the same as the email. The fake emails, the fake text messages, all of that stuff is meant to do one thing. It is meant to do one single thing, and that's get your personal data. How easy are you going to give away that data? That's the question. That should be, you should never give it away, ever. They are after the credentials for specific websites and to launder, and sometimes they will want to launder money for you. I'm going to tell y'all an embarrassing story real quick about when I was much, much younger and knew nothing about computers, right? I received this email. I was with Bank of America at the time, and this was in Gastonia, North Carolina. I got a call from my bank, right? I'd got this email, and I'd clicked the link, and I was going to go get the money, and they were going to give me a big sum of money, I thought. Yeah, I fell for it because I didn't know. That's why I'm making this video. I want you to be aware of some of the things they do. When I got this, I thought it was all legit, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And then my bank calls me, and they're like, hey, Chris, we think that you're being a part of a scam. And I said, oh, am I? They're like, yeah, you're being scammed. And they're like, they asked me, they said, did they tell you to go get what was it, gift cards or something like that? I think it was gift card. And they're like, yeah. And I said, yeah, that's exactly what they said. They're like, yeah, stop now and we'll report them. So if it wasn't for Bank of America, shout out to them, because I don't really like them that much, but they saved my butt then. So this is what I'm telling y'all, is that is laundering money, dude. And it is heavily against the law. And I would have not even known that that's what I was doing. So be very wary, y'all. Be very, very careful about what you do. Now, let's get into the next one. So fake text messages. Now, I'm going to show you this text message. This is from my phone, right? So this is all my notes. And this is the text message I received. Now, what I really want to make y'all aware of is the way that it looks, right? This number, I don't recognize this number. This number is not from the United States. Not from the United States. This right here looks a little weird. At first, I thought, oh, this looks weird. And we're going to get into something very important here. I want to take some time on this. If you notice, it says, please reply yes, then exit the text message and then open it again to activate the link, or copy the link into your Safari browser and open it, right? I did this. I reported it junk, because that's what it is. I want to specifically look at this URL. There's nothing that seems a little weird about it. It's not one that I recognize, right? It's not that I don't recognize it, but it's not necessarily in of itself bad. But we're going to see why it's bad here in a minute. Now, so what I did was I took this link and I went to a couple sites. One of them is Bitdefender, and I copied this URL. You can see it's the exact same URL. If we look at it, look, it's exactly the same. You can pause that if you want. And if you look at this, it's exactly the same. And this says, and Bitdefender says, do not go there. This link is known to distribute malware. Accessing it may harm your device, steal your data, or allow unauthorized access. Stay away from this site. Ensure your security software is active. As you can see, I received this text message. Let's see when this was. February 4th at 1:13 p.m. This was on my work phone. I received this text message. And I'm like, ooh, I could use this for my video. So I just copied it and sent it to myself. Now, if you look, there was a couple of them. See, this one said the same thing, SSL Trust. But the first time I went to this website and did this SSL Trust, it said it was fine. So that's what I want to look at now. Let's go ahead and we will make sure we're still recording. Okay, we're still recording. Let's go to this SSL Trust. Now I want to really make it clear to y'all that and they want to charge you. That's the bad part. They want to charge you for it. And And I'm telling y'all, free website. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go up. I'm going to copy this link because I've got it written all written down. So what we're going to do is we're going to try the part that this is what it looks like. It tells you everything you need to know about it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to copy this link right here. Copy. We're going to paste it right into here and submit that. Oh, so we got to take the HTTPS stuff off. That should find the domain. Let's see what it says, because the first time it did this, it said everything was good. But when you add that end part on it, it makes it bad. But let's just see what happens. And see, it says it uses Bitdefender, but it didn't, because it came back. See? Right there, look. If no positive matches are found in our partner database, it does not guarantee this website is safe. So why even have this tool? So as y'all can see, it came back. I want y'all to really look at this, because using this said it was fine, but when you add this, the last part on it is when it became bad. And you notice it's for like people who pay tolls and stuff, for toll payment. Well, I know Fast Track doesn't even match anything here in Colorado, so I know that it's not good. Okay, so then that's what I wanted to show y'all, is that just because they have good intentions, or they appear to have good intentions, doesn't mean that they do. That's a fake test message. Some of them will have a link that you click, some won't. Some will have a link that you have to copy and paste in the browser. Just don't do it. Just report it as spam. Questions you can ask yourself. Do you know the number? If you don't know the number, report it as junk. Period. You do not owe them anything. You know them nothing. Do not click on the link. I'm begging you, don't click on the link. What is the message saying? And does the message apply to something you know? If not, delete it. If it does, question it. That's what I say. Just question it anyway. Because you're better off just not know it. You're better off just being safe. Do I have to click on the link? This is where it is up to you, right? If you are thinking that this link is bad, if it is something inside of you, deep down inside of you is saying don't do it, then don't do it. Even if it's not, don't do it anyway. So that's what I'm saying, y'all. That's the first part of this. Phishing scams. And these are all phishing scams. That's what all of these are. And this is in my Cyber Stronghold series from my boy's book. Shields up, bro. Shields up. Home network safety for the rest of us. My boy Damien, shout out to him. I love that boy. Phishing scams are simply meant to do one thing: divulge personal information. That's what they do. They pull information out of you. That's all they do. Be very careful, everybody. On to our second and final part: malware. Malware is a different kind of beast. Malware contains a lot of categories, and we're just going to go over four of them that I have experienced myself. Trojan. I had a Trojan one time. Well, I didn't, but the guy that I knew, I worked on his laptop, he had one, and it took forever to fix it. Their Trojans are pieces of malware that disguise themselves as a legitimate piece of software. So be very careful the links you click on. Now, this guy, he had clicked on some link of some kind, and it took him to this website where he installed a piece of software, and it locked him out of his computer. I've had that happen to a bunch of people. One lady ended up paying $550 because of it. And I told her, I'm like, why did you click on that? I'm like, we could have just re-imaged your computer and fixed it. We could have done that. So that's what I'm saying, everybody, is links are to only be clicked if you know, if you know exactly where you're going and exactly what it's going to do. Otherwise, don't click on it. Okay, so if we look, we got my web browser open, right? What we're going to do is we're going to do a search for eBay. And I'm hoping it'll throw some ads in there, but it may not. Now, I want you to notice down in the bottom left, let me see if it actually shows it in the bottom left. See down in the bottom left how it has that little pink box above the weather thing? The weather alert, that will tell you the exact URL you are going to. Right there, that one says ebay.com. Right? I could point to it, but you're not going to see it. If we go here to About, and it says ebayinc.com. Let's go down a little bit more. See, that one's leading you to twitter.com, which is actually X now. That one's going to Wikipedia. You see that? This is a quick way you can check where the link is actually going to take you. And Google's very good about this, but Microsoft Edge, not so much. Now, if we scroll down a little more, let's go to the next page. eBay, this should say LinkedIn. Yep, see right there? LinkedIn.com/company/eBay. Now, that's a real quick check that you personally can do to verify the validity of a website. It will either take you or it won't. It'll take you there, it won't. So that's kind of what I'm wanting to get to y'all, is that all of these things are meant to do one thing. They take your data or lock you out of your data. And some of these next ones you're going to see that's what's going to happen. So viruses, They use macros. Now, macros are used extensively in Excel. Our company does not allow them because of this reason. Their macros are used to execute code and help spread of a malicious piece of software. A macro is a sequence of commands or actions that can be grouped together and executed as a single command, sort of like a script. It'll run a script. That's exactly what happens. So be very wary of the things that you click on. I use it at work for simple things like columns and rows, but that's all I use it for. And it's just to keep data, keep information sorted. So the next one is worms. Primary function of a computer worm is to self-replicate. These are one of the most dangerous itself and spread to other computers. So I've seen a worm self-replicate across a system and shut the system down, and then go to another system and do the same thing. It's happened before, y'all. It happens. It does a lot of this by using vulnerabilities in the operating system. That's why, remember in one of our previous videos where I was talking about how you need to keep your computer up to date. There's a reason I say that, y'all. There's a reason. If you don't update it, there's a vulnerability. Sometimes when you do update it, it's a vulnerability, but they'll fix it pretty quick. So it will typically use FTP to propagate to other computers, as FTP is not a secure protocol. FTP, file transfer protocol. It's just used for moving files around, but use the SFTP. So there you go, for those of you that know how. Ransomware. This is our next category. Ransomware is interesting because it holds you hostage. Now, this is the situation that I've probably seen the most. It holds you hostage. I've personally seen it. Encrypts the files on the system and prevents the user from gaining access. I have seen this myself physically. The lady calls me and says, "Hey, Chris, I need your help." I said, "What you got going on?" She said, "I'm locked out of my computer." I'm like, "Okay, why is that?" "Well, I gave them $500 and they still didn't let me in." I'm like, okay. So, and I'm not going to criticize anybody for this. Anybody can make this mistake. I almost laundered money. I almost made a mistake too. So I can't say a word. It almost happened to me. So I'm going to tell y'all, that's why I want y'all to have the knowledge to understand these things, is because if you're going to do these things, I would rather you be informed, right? I don't want you to be uninformed and then you click on something and they take $1,000 from you. Money's too precious these days for that. If you don't know who it is, delete it or report it as spam and block the user. I would do all of those things. Now, and if you want a video on that, put it down in the description. I'll do it. Now, in conclusion, everybody, I know this seems like a lot of information and it can be overwhelming. It can be very, very daunting to go through this stuff. But if you keep these simple things in mind, you will be just fine. Don't click on links. Don't click on emails that you don't know who it's from. Delete it or report it as spam. Don't click on any links in the emails if you don't know the person. If you don't know them personally, and even if you do, here's what I would recommend you do. If you get an email from somebody and it looks like somebody you know, call them and say, "Hey, did you send me this email?" And the reason you want to call them directly because you don't know if their site has been compromised, and you could be sending a text message that could be getting captured. Call them physically and say, "Hey, did you send this to me?" And if they said no, then you'll know the right answer. Do not click on link under any circumstances. If you don't know who it's from, if it's saying, "Hey, we're your bank," you call the bank and make sure they sent you an email. If they didn't send you an email, then delete it or report it as spam and report it to the bank so they can mark it as phishing. And that's what I'm saying, y'all. It's very simple, but you have to remember in the moment that what are they trying to divulge from me? What are they trying to gain? What are they trying to get? Are they trying to gain my personal data? Are they just wanting information? It doesn't matter what they want. You don't have to give them anything. Remember that. Put your foot down and say no. It is up to you, y'all. Don't be too kind to people, especially businesses. Trust me on this. So that's what I'm telling you. Be firm but kind. That's how I am. Firm but kind. If you don't, you need to do your updates. That's another aspect you need to do. You saw that in my other video. As I said, it's imperative to keep all of your devices up to date. I have seen so many people. Oh my God. I have seen this so many times where somebody will say, "Yes, I updated my machine and I rebooted this morning." And I'm like, "Yeah, but did you check again?" No. I've had devices quit working. My mouse pad on my work laptop quit working yesterday. It needed a BIOS update, but I hadn't used that laptop in like a week, so that's why. So that's what I'm telling y'all, is patching is very important because it prevents a lot of these things from happening, right? And so if you're the person that never updates their computer, you know who you are. You know who you are. I know a lot of people that are like that. Take this as a warning. Update your system, as it will greatly reduce your chances of these attacks every time. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and may the Lord keep and bless each and every one of you, and I pray that He he shows you what he has shown me, and that he delivers you out of the darkness just like he did me. And everybody, praise be his name. And until next time, everybody, thank you for watching. Peace.